Hey guys. I thought I was done for the day, but no, it is me. It's Ginny Silver, and I have one more update for you guys today. The EDD has released their press release today. They've been releasing their press releases very late at night. So I've been on the lookout for this specific press release today because we're anticipating it to have the extension update information. Now, a few hours ago, I released a video that kind of goes through some of the inconsistencies that the EDD is stating right now in terms of the extension being applied and what to do if you have to file a new claim, etc. So I'm going to leave that video live, but I wanted to go live so that you guys get this information right away. The EDD released their press release tonight, which states from the American Rescue Plan Act, all of the unemployment extensions and the dates. So we have the dates for when they are going to be going live. So let me just make sure you guys can all hear me and everything. Yep, we're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to read off the press release, but there's some good news and then there's some not so good news for a group of you. So first off, if you are currently on a UI claim or a Fed Ed claim and you are currently collecting, your benefit year hasn't ended, then they state here that UI and Fed Ed will continue to receive the extra $300 per week in benefits without interruption. So that means the $300 FPUC boost is going to continue to be paid out for you guys without any interruption if you are a Fed Ed or UI claimant that is currently collecting. Next, they state that you can now file a new PUA claim. So if you've been waiting to file a claim until they get things up and running, you can file a claim now. They state that they will start you at the 167 baseline, and then you'll be eligible for an increase starting April 10th. So April 10th is kind of that magical date for all the updates right now. Next, they state that if you are on an existing or an exhausted PUA claim, so that means if you're currently collecting PUA, but it has lapsed, right? Because we're past that March 13th end date, you've used up all your claim balance, or if you had remaining claim balance, they're stating that you will be able to certify starting April 10th. So if you had a PUA claim, you're seeing that $0 maximum benefits paid sign in your UI online, you should be able to certify by April 10th. So it says, down here, I'm going to read it exactly so I don't misquote them. Californians with existing exhausted PUA claims will be able to certify for benefits by April 10th, 2021. So once again, you guys, when we see that by date here, it doesn't mean that you necessarily will have to wait all the way up until April 10th, but they say by April 10th. So expect it to take that long. And then if it doesn't, then it's a bonus. Now, this last group, I need a sip of water before I read it. My sloth mug. Okay, this last group. You guys, I'm really sorry if you're a PEUC claimant. PEUC can expect the EDD to begin automatically processing PEUC extensions with the additional weeks of benefits available for certification by April 30th. So if you are PEUC with existing or exhausted PEUC claims, they're going to take up until April 30th to extend you. So we have that April 10th date for PUA claims. It's going to be easier for them to extend that because they're amending that end date. But then with PEUC, they're going to take up until April 30th. There's kind of some additional complications that go along with those claims because a lot of those claimants have benefits that are expiring. So I'm guessing that's the reason why that's going to take longer in their systems for them to do that change. So if you're currently collecting PEUC and you're waiting on that extension, expect to be waiting up until April 30th. Now next, they give some additional information. Let me pause real quick. So I'm seeing you guys say that some of you are PEUX. PEUX is a version, a type of PEUC. So When I talk about PEUC, that encompasses PEUX. PEUX is not a term that's used anywhere online other than like Reddit or forums like that. The EDD hasn't actually typed out, to my knowledge, the term PEUX anywhere in their website or any of that documentation. That's only a term that's used internally if you call customer service. So PEUX is like the second level of PEUC. So if you are collecting PEUX, then you're going to be under that group of claimants that is going to be waiting up until April 30th for that extension to be applied. So next they go on to talk about, hold on, let me pull this back up and then I'll check your comments in a second. So next they go on to talk about end of the benefit year. I feel like I'm a mess right now because I just had a whole day. So they talk about the end of the benefit year. This is the part that is still confusing, you guys. My video that I published like 2 hours ago still kind of holds true with this information. So what they state here, and I'm going to read directly from the press release so that I don't misconstrue anything. It's just their exact words. All right, it states many Californians collecting regular unemployment insurance are coming up on the end of their initial 12-month claim for unemployment benefits. They should expect to receive notice from the EDD via their UI online account or through the mail, advising that their claim has expired and they must reapply for another claim if they are still not employed. Depending on their situation and eligibility status, the EDD will either move them to a new regular state UI claim or connect them to a newly extended federal benefits that they may qualify to receive. This is the same information that they have had everywhere before. So anytime I have shared a resource on screen that shows you must reapply once you reach the end of your 12-month benefit year for a traditional unemployment claim, meaning you were an employee prior, that still is what they're saying here. So they are still saying that if you were UI, or essentially if you're on an extension of UI, you're going to reach your end of your 12-month benefit year. They still are stating that they want you to file a new claim. Now, just as the video that I posted about 2 hours ago states, when people call into customer service this week, they're getting a different answer from customer service reps. Customer service reps are telling a large percentage of my subscribers when they call in, they're telling them that they do not have to file a new claim and that they will be extended automatically and to wait until after April 10th. So I'm still seeing conflicting information here. So what that means is that I'm thirsty. Hold on. Means that I'm thirsty. So what that means is that they state here that PEUC that has been, let me read it exactly. They state Californians with existing or exhausted PEUC benefits can expect EDD to begin automatically processing PEUC extensions. It doesn't say expired. It doesn't say that if your claim has expired, that they will extend you automatically. So it doesn't necessarily say that. However, claimants are calling into customer service this week with expired claims, saying, I believe I need to file a new claim. And customer service reps are telling them that they don't have to file a new claim and they'll be extended automatically. So there's still some problems here, you guys, with what they are informing us. So my best advice to you, if you are unsure of what to do and if you want to invest the time in calling into customer service, would be, I'm not going to tell you to wait to file a new claim because I don't think that that's wise advice to give. But my advice would still be the same that I've said before. If your claim expires, your UI or PEUC, and you reach the end of 12 months worth of benefits, I still would advise that you call into customer service. Yes, they're telling many people that they don't need to reapply, but you might as well find that out for yourself for your own claim, because I am still receiving other subscribers telling me that they are needing to call in and file a new claim and they do it successfully. So If you are expiring, I know this is the big question for everyone right now. If you are expiring, I would still recommend that you call into customer service and double check if you need to file a new claim. If you are PEUC within your benefit year with an exhausted balance or an existing balance, they state that you will be having the extension applied by April 30th. So that is the group that's going to take the longest. If you are PUA, you're going to have the extension applied with the ability to certify by April 10th. So with that being said, I need more water from my sloth cup. All right, you guys. So there's one more thing that I want to share with you. And then I'll take questions in the chat and see what you guys are saying. One more piece of good news. If you are someone who is waiting for more information about the $10,200 worth of untaxed unemployment benefits, and you already filed your 2020 income taxes, there's good news. Today, the IRS commissioner, some guy that I don't know his name, and I didn't look it up right now to remember. I don't know his name. IRS commissioner guy. He was present he spoke at a congressional hearing today. And he stated that the IRS he said, should be able to automatically calculate the difference in your $10,200 worth of untaxed unemployment benefits. So if you already submitted your 2020 income taxes and you were wondering if you would have to amend, you do not have to amend because the IRS commissioner has stated that they should be able to automatically calculate this and then automatically send you a refund. So that is a bit of good news. All right, I am going to check in the chat box. I'm gonna get COVID apparently. All right, I'm gonna, whoa, there's a lot of chat happening here. I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna answer just a handful of questions because it's my kids' bedtime and they're in the bathtub with my husband downstairs. So I'm gonna have to put them to sleep soon. So I'm gonna jump in here. Whoa, there's a lot going on. I don't even know where to start. Where do I start? I'm lost. Okay, let's see. Scrolling down. If you have questions, drop them in. All right, Saul Anthony says, I have a question. My PEUC is negative and I haven't received benefits since January. Oh, okay. So if you have negative balance, that means that Bank of America, your debit card, has some sort of a fraudulent activity on it, or you have been subject to overpayment penalties. So it depends where the negative balance is. If the negative balance is on your debit card statement with a B of A, then you need to call Bank of America EDD Card Services, and you need to start working with them about getting that problem reversed. If it is on the EDD balance, that means that they possibly overpaid you, or it could be a computer system error. But either way, you need to call into customer service and fix it if it's on EDD's end. Additionally, if it's a B of A issue, call your assembly member because B of A issues take a really long time to resolve and they cause a lot of problems. All right, I'm scrolling down to the most recent questions. Down here, I'm going to answer just a couple more. Let's see. I did that one. Billy talked to EDD today, and he said, I do have to refile my claim. My claim year ends 3/29 and said he'll do it for me on Monday, 3/22. On Tuesday, EDD told me I do not have to file a new claim. Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, and many people are reporting getting different answers across the board when they call in and speak to different reps. So that is a big problem right now, is different representatives are also giving different answers. All right, Max James show. I was told I can certify Sunday. That'll be 2 weeks, right? Yeah, I hope so, unless they're missing a week, which has been known to happen. So I really hope that they do allow you to do 2 weeks. All right, scrolling down. Rosa, help. I report in my certification that I was sick with COVID and they're not going to pay those days. Is this right? No, they should pay you. So in the certification questions, I just checked the certification, broken brain at 8 p.m. In the certification questions, which I just checked today, it states, were you sick with something not having to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic? So you don't have to check that you were too sick to accept work because you're covered under that COVID-19 pandemic blanket. It states it in the certification question. So perhaps you made an error and you checked the other one saying that, yes, you were too sick to work. That would be an error in choosing the wrong box. I think it's a circle, choosing the wrong circle. So I would correct that with them because if it is under COVID-19, then you are covered and you should not have a problem with that. Okay. Whoa, Max James Show, that's typing that too many times. I don't have my moderator in here. Let's see, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Okay, let's see. Augustine. What does that say? Fed continues until you have to reapply due to expiration of your UI claim. Once you get a no, the Fed continues. I think that wait time is 2 weeks. I'm not quite sure what that means. All right, I am taking one last question. One last question? I think so. Max James Show says I need a vacation. Well, I have kids. Being kids, you get kid vacations, which are not vacations. They are more work. All right. Yoslin says, Ginny, is it best to apply 5 days prior to the end date, or should I do it the day of? So the EDD has started. I got a hold of someone's email today that told them when to reapply for a new claim. And it said that you could reapply between 1 and 5 days before your expiration date. So you can reapply between 1 and 5 days. So I would do that then. All right. Scrolling down. Whoa, I lost it. Okay. Let's see. I say a lot of let's sees. All right. What about if I'm on Fed Ed with a balance and claim expired? So if you're on Fed Ed with a balance and the claim expired, then if you're not, so Fed Ed sometimes continues to pay out based on subscriber feedback, even after the claim expires. So if you're still collecting and getting paid, then stay on it and keep certifying. But if you go into pending or if you're not able to certify, then you've reached the end of 1 year's worth of benefits. You need to call in and you need to reapply for a new claim. Now, if you don't qualify for a new claim because you have been on unemployment for the last year, then what they will do is they will keep you on your old claim and they will apply the PEUC extension to that old claim. Now, with that being said, they are updating their systems right now, and they're going to be taking up until April 30th to apply the PEUC extensions to everyone. So I'm going to reiterate it once more for anyone new that's just hopping in right now, because I see I have over 600 people in here. What the EDD just released is that PUA claimants are going to be able to certify with the extension by April 10th. PEUC claimants who are awaiting having the extension are going to be able to certify with the new extension by April 30th. So those are the dates that we have with that. All right, there's a lot of people in here. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer and answer a few more questions just because of the volume of people that are here. So go ahead and continue to drop your questions down below, but I am jumping around randomly in the chat today to choose questions. All right. Eddie says, what date can you certify for the new benefits? Because as of March 14th, my payment said fully paid when my year doesn't end until June. Okay, so if you are, let's see, are you PUA certified for new benefits March 14th? Okay, so if you're PUA, then it's going to be by April 10th is when they're extending all of the PUA claims. If you're a PEUC or you're awaiting a PEUC extension, you were UI, then it's going to be by April 30th is what the new press release today states. And if you are Fed Ed is kind of on its own operational timeline because Fed Ed is partially federally funded, partially state funded. So if Fed Ed happens to kick in for your claim first, then then it would be within 1 to 2 weeks. But it sounds like your claim already has a balance and you are just waiting on the ability to certify. So it sounds like you're a PEUC claim, but I'm not quite sure. PEUC, it's going to be up until April 30th. All right, let's see. Kate's Cube says, hi, Ginny. My husband wanted me to ask you with regards to the $600 for California residents who earned under 30K. If this can be received when a person leaves California to relocate to another state. So the rule with the California Golden State Stimulus is you have to have an AGI below $30,000. And you must have earned income in some form. You must qualify for the Cal EITC credit. Now, in order to qualify for that, you have to have lived in the state of California for half the year at least. And this is for tax year 2020. So if you guys lived there for 6 months, then you would qualify and you must claim the Cal EITC in order to receive that credit. For those of you that are wondering, because I know this would be the next question, if you claimed Cal EITC on your 2020 income tax return, when will you receive the Golden State Stimulus? It is between 45 and 60 days after you file and have your income taxes processed. So 45 to 60 days after that, then you will automatically receive it. All right. What else we got? Kareem says, I was so lucky the EDD girl was so helpful and so friendly. Thanks to Ginny and Shelly and the EDD rep. Good. I'm really glad you got through. I'm glad you got help. Verified hype. Just make sure you guys are doing the work and getting 6 applications noted in. Okay. Let's see. Mary Alice, EDD is down for maintenance right now, so I can't check what type of EDD I am getting. Okay. So Mary, if you're trying to figure out what type of claim you have, when it comes back up, you can click in claims history and you can click on transaction for the most recent transaction in there. And then it's going to tell you a code, PEUC, UI, Fed Ed, or if it says DUA, then that's going to mean that you are PUA. But aside from that, you're going to be UI or PEUC if you worked a traditional employee prior to being unemployed. So if you had W-2 earnings, then you'd be UI. And if you exhausted your UI claim and went on to an extension, then you would be PEUC. And then you're going to be PUA if you had self-employment income prior to the pandemic. So if you had self-employment income or if you had a limited work history, such as a promise to start a job that was canceled due to COVID-19, then you would be PUA. Max James Show says you are a star. Thank you very much. Scrolling down, what's next? Tell you what's next. It's a sip from this awkward sloth cup that's too big. But it represents the slowness of the EDD. So it's here. All right. TM says, how do I call? Nobody answers the phone. I have tricks. I have a video that shows 2 tricks to call into customer service. They're currently still working for most people. If you go to my channel homepage, and scroll about halfway down, there is a thumbnail that has me holding up a phone. On that video, I test on the video 2 tricks. And in 20 minutes time, I made this video, I think like 3 weeks ago. In 20 minutes, I got through 6 times to a hold line. So go watch that video. And there's 2 different things that you can try. You might have to do them repeatedly. If you do them repeatedly, even on a week like this, most people are still getting through as long as they dedicate a lot of time to it. I'm really sorry. Verify the hype. Thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate that. So the other thing you can do if you cannot get through the phone lines is to contact your assembly member. A lot of people aren't doing this, or they're delaying doing it because they think that it's unnecessary, or they think that it might be pointless. It's not pointless. They have been extremely helpful in working. Computer's broken. Broke it even more by slamming it. So they have been extremely helpful in working as a liaison between the claimants and customer service, and they have direct connections to the Tier 2 representatives. So if you cannot get through the phone lines, or if you have a problem that just is not getting solved, call customer service, but then call your assembly member right after. The link to contact your assembly member. I almost just told my assistant to post the link in the chat, but she's not here right now because I went live with no warning. All right, let's see. Max James Show, thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate that. And someone else, who's there? Jay's Plays, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You guys are very kind. Okay, so assembly member, the other thing you can do is UI online and ask EDD, but those are kind of pointless because it takes them forever to get back to you, but it doesn't hurt. But assembly member, do that. All right, I'm scrolling down for more questions. Brenda says, my claim year has ended a few days ago, but I still have a claim balance and it is still telling me that I'm able to certify. Do I file a new claim anyway? Okay, so if your claim year ended, you still have a claim balance and it's telling you to certify, I am guessing that you're on Fed Ed. If you are, then continue to certify as long as you get paid. If you see it gets stuck in pending, then call into customer service right away because you will need to file a new claim at that point in time. Now, with that being said, if you are someone that has reached the end of your benefit year and you are stuck in pending, and you don't know why you're stuck in pending, go check your benefit year. Go to UI Online, go to your start date of your claim. Most of you will say on extension at this point, but look at the start date of your claim and then count out 12 months after. If you're stuck in pending in your past 12 months, it's because you need to file a new claim. In that case, do not continue to certify if you're not getting paid because those pending payments are going to stay there. And then when you go over, if you migrate over to a new claim, they oftentimes don't follow you and then it creates problems. So if you're getting paid, keep certifying. If they're all pending, call into customer service. You probably need to file a new claim. All right. Brian Villas, thank you very much. Brian, I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's see. Other questions? Gotta stop saying let's see. What do I replace it with? All right. I already did that one. I did that one. I'm going to scroll up a little bit further and get some of these questions up here. Justin says, stated from an EDD rep, she told me I was going to be interviewed. I'm confused. I haven't worked for a whole year and I filed my claim already and it was processed. My benefit year end is 3/29/21. Okay, so yes, they're doing a lot of phone interviews at this point in time. There are many reasons why people are getting stop payment alerts on their claims right now. Stop payment alerts were stopped. Stop payment alerts were stopped. They were stopped several months back. The EDD switched them off. Basically, a stop payment alert is something that tells the internal computer system that someone shouldn't be receiving payments. Well, EDD switched them off because they wanted to process everyone through. The EDD was then audited, and in the audit report, they said, hey, you need to switch these back on because you're paying out all these fraudulent claims. Well, the problem with switching them back on is that they are not programmed properly for the pandemic. So depending on how you answer certification questions, sometimes you can have a stop payment alert placed onto your claim. That is a problem because if you certify in a way that you are allowed to certify, such as if you are not required to look for work due to the pandemic right now, if you certify that you are not looking for work, that may trip you into a stop payment alert. It doesn't mean that you aren't eligible to receive benefits, but it does mean that they will want to phone interview you. So right now there are many cases like that and eligibility issues and things like that. So when they call you, make sure that you have your phone by your side over the next couple weeks. Sometimes they let you know your phone appointment date in advance, and sometimes they don't. So you don't want to miss the call. And what you want to answer is you want to answer honestly, and you want to answer in a way where you are able to look for, able to accept work. So that means that for those of you that are staying at home to take care of children because they can't go to school right now, something along those lines, you might be answering along the lines of you're able to look for full-time work for stay-at-home positions or things like that. So that they want to hear that you're able to accept full-time work and that you're looking. They also might be looking at why you left your prior job and was it due to a COVID-related reason. All right, Rosa, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate that. Let me see if I missed anyone up here. Got it. Slow. It's broken. All right. Billy says, you're amazing. Thank you for your professionalism and support. You're the best. You're very welcome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Emmanuel, thank you for your donation. When your extension kicks in, will you get back pay? I haven't been paid since 2/22/21. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yes, it will. They're obligated. So according to the American Rescue Plan Act text, the text in that bill states that it is amending the end date of the programs. So because the end date is being amended, they go through continuously. In addition to that, the Department of Labor released their guidance 2 days ago. And in that, they state that benefits are to be paid out uninterrupted. Now, of course, there's going to be a lapse between when the programs are up and running in the states because they have to set them up. So if there is a lapse, which there has been a long lapse for you, I'm sorry, then they are obligated to pay you retroactively for that. And it's going to include the $300 boost for all weeks as well, because that boost is effective 3/14. It's just an extension of the FPUC boost. So yes, you will be entitled to that retroactive payment, but as we have seen with the California EDD, oftentimes there are gaps in payments. So double check your transaction histories. And if you're missing any weeks because maybe you were migrated from an old PUA claim over to PEUC, in that case, there are often gaps. So check and make sure that you have received all payments that are owed to you. And then if you are missing anything, call into customer service later on once you are getting paid. All right. Need water from my weird cup. A loud sip from a microphone. All right, scrolling down, breaking my computer. So I'm gonna look over here instead. All right, let's see. Broken, this is broken too. Why is all my technology broken? Showing me timestamps at like 7:50. All right. Okay. I'm going to take probably 10 more minutes worth of questions and I'm going to put my kids to bed. All right. Verify the height. As long as you're telling the truth in everything, you're fine. Oh, I think you were referring to the phone interview. Yes. Answer truthfully. Anytime I give recommendations on answers, it is always answer truthfully for yourself and for your situation. Kathy Lovely, Ginny, I'm still waiting on pending payments since December 2020 and have certified for every week. Any suggestions? Okay, so pending, hold on. Oh, I did that one. Okay, pending payments are a big problem. If you are out, first thing, are you subject to an ID verification? If you had to verify your identity and you didn't successfully complete the process, that will keep you in pending. So first off, make sure that if you had to verify your ID, did you get a confirmation email immediately following from ID.me? If not, then you skipped the last step, which is a common problem. It's a very common problem because it says very small, return to your browser after it says you're all done. So if you didn't complete that, go complete it. If that's not the case for you, check your benefit year. Look in UI Online and then look at your claim start date. Count 12 months after that. If you're a traditional regular unemployment claim, you were an employee, if you're 12 months after your start date, you are pending because you must file a new claim. If that's your case, then call into customer service and file a new claim over the phone. If none of those applies to you, then you have to call into customer service and see what's going on. Most likely there's some sort of a stop payment alert applied to your claim, which could have been triggered either by your reason for leaving your job or by how you certified, and they might need to gather more information on you. All right, Junior, thank you very much for your donation. If I haven't received my PEUC extension and my claim ends 4/10, do I file a new claim or wait? Since you said PEUC kicks off on 4/30. Okay, so so your claim ends 4/10. Wait. wait and they should automatically extend you, because if you end 4/10, that's an end date with that stimulus bill. I would wait. You can call in on 4/10 if you want to be proactive, if you are still concerned, because essentially I'm a random person on the internet. I'm not the EDD. But you can call in. But if it were me, I would expect that you would be in that camp of people that is going to be automatically extended, because they will be working on those 4/10 end dates. That 4/10 end date was the end of the phase out period from the December stimulus bill. From 3/14 up until 4/10, that's when you can use your remaining claim balance from the last stimulus bill. So I do believe that you're in the camp that's going to be automatically extended. But if you are uncertain, don't want to trust random stranger danger on the internet, you can call in. All right, click. I broke it. Scrolling down. It's awkwardly long pause while I break my computer. Whoa, I went too far. There are so many comments in here. Usually I have my assistant moderating, deleting all the duplicates. It's a little hard without that. All right, Julian says, my benefits ended on March 13th here in California, but President Biden signed into law the third extension. I called customer service trying to explain to them I qualified for the extension. EDD ended anyway. Correct. So your benefits ended March 13th. We have the new extension signed. 2 days ago, the Department of Labor issued their directives on that legislation. The Department of Labor directives basically tell the states how to implement the programs. Once the states received that guidance, now, which was 2 days ago, now they can begin to set up the extensions in their programs. So today is the first day that the EDD has issued a statement on when they will pay these extensions out. So your next step is that you are waiting. PUA claimants are going to be waiting for their extension up until April 10th. And the EDD has stated in today's press release that PUA claimants will be able to certify by April 10th. If you were PEUC, then or you were unemployed on a regular unemployment before and you're going to be PEUC extension, then you will be waiting up until April 30th. PEUC is taking longer. All right, Ash Roberts, thank you very much for your donation. Hi, Ginny. If I recently moved and reached my benefit end date mid-March, do I have to refile in the new state or refile in California? Okay, so if you moved and you reached your benefit year mid-March, it depends on the state. To my knowledge, it depends on the state in which you earned your income for the last 18 months. So your base year with unemployment is based on your on the last 18 months of income. So in the last 18 months, were you employed in the state of California or were you employed elsewhere? So that would essentially determine where you apply. So I'm guessing that you would apply in California because you just moved. Double check. Once you apply, you'll know for sure. But I do believe that it would be in the state where you worked for the last 18 months. There was another super chat up here and it just disappeared and I have to see what it was because it got deleted. All right, NC, thank you very much for your donation. So if I understand correctly, I am on UI with federal extension and boost. I don't need to reapply. My year says 3/22 through on extension. Okay, so if you are UI and you are PEUC, 3/22 is your end date. So this press release states that PEUC, which is the extension for traditional unemployment claims, will be automatically extended and will receive their extensions applied with the ability to certify by April 30th. But then it goes on to state that if you have reached the end of your benefit year, that the EDD will send you a notification that you must file for a new claim. Because you are reaching the end of your benefit year, I would anticipate that you most likely would receive the extension started if they do it fast enough, but they're going to be taking up until April 30th, so they might not do it fast enough. But then when you reach that 1 year's worth of benefits, you have to file a new claim. call into customer service and do it over the phone, because if you are not able to achieve a new claim because you didn't have enough earnings in the year prior because you were unemployed, then what they do is they apply the extension to your old claim. Now, the benefit about doing it over the phone is that they can apply it immediately as long as the program is back up and running. So the best way to do that is to call into customer service when you reach that 1 year end. So yes, I would still anticipate that you need to file a new claim unless they extend you fast enough. All right, Esther Garcia, thank you very much for your donation. If I apply for PPP and pay myself for the 8 weeks, should I keep certifying with the amount from PPP, or I stop certifying for 8 weeks so I don't cancel PUA? Okay, so I have received PPP draws 1 and 2 myself personally. And I've made videos on this, and I have not made as many updated videos on this, but the rules still remain the same, that if you are using 100% of it for owner's compensation, so you're paying yourself with the full loan amount, then what you're going to do is you're going to divide that loan amount by 10, because that loan amount is based on 10 weeks worth of owner's compensation from your Schedule C. So divide it by 10, and then you are going to certify in each week for that 1/10 amount. So every 10, for a period of 10 weeks, you will certify and claim the income. When you claim the income, you can state that it is self-employment income for yourself, and then you're going to state in the info box down below, just say that you paid yourself using PPP funds. If you certify for that income, it keeps your claim active. That way, you don't have to go through the reopen process of waiting a couple weeks while they reopen your claim when it's done. So continue to certify for it, because it will save you a big headache of having to reopen your claim later on. Need water from this weird cup. All right. I'm going to do 2 more minutes of questions, and then I'm done. I'm going to go down to the very bottom, and I'm going to see what's going on down here. Okay. Let's see. Janice says, for the California stimulus, if you didn't qualify before the $10,200 deduction on your taxes, will you qualify once they put that in place and you're below the $30,000? Yes, as long as you meet the other requirements for the Cal EITC. So if the $10,200 worth of unemployment benefits that are to be untaxed apply to individuals that have a below $150,000 AGI, so your adjusted gross income, all your income minus your deductions. If you fit underneath that, then you're going to have $10,200 worth of your unemployment benefits be untaxed. Now, they're untaxed by using the method of removing them from your AGI. This is a calculation that's done on the Schedule 1. You don't just leave it off. You don't just subtract it yourself. You subtract it on the Schedule 1. So if you did not qualify for the Cal EITC, which qualifies you to receive the $600 Golden State stimulus, but now you do because you get to subtract that $10,200, then yes. But the problem is that in order to claim that Golden State stimulus check, you have to qualify for and claim Cal EITC on your tax return. Now, if you've already filed your tax return, and we now have learned that they're going to automatically calculate the difference of that $10,200 for you, that doesn't mean that they're going to automatically claim for you the Cal EITC credit. So if you want to claim that $600 and you did not qualify for it before, and you already filed, but now you do qualify for it, you have to amend your taxes. So if that changes for you, you have to amend your taxes to claim the Cal EITC, which will then trigger the $600. I think I just figured out a video that I need to make because that's pretty complicated. All right, Claire Payne, I'm on PEUC now. Thank you, Claire, for your donation. I'm on PEUC now, and my year-end date isn't until May. Does that mean the $300 boost won't be added until late April? Okay, so if your PEUC year-end date isn't until May, The EDD stated in their press release that was just released tonight, which is the reason why I went live, that they are taking up until April 30th to extend PEUC claimants. Now, that means you're going to be waiting up until April 30th. It could be sooner, but they said up until April 30th to be able to certify. So you're not going to get paid up until then, and you won't receive the $300 boost up until then if you don't have a balance. Now, for those of you that are PEUC that do still have a balance, and you are in that 314 to 410 phase out period where you can still collect your balance, but you don't have anything new in there. They have stated in this press release that the $300 boost will continue to be paid out. Let me pull up the exact language here. Californians collecting either regular state unemployment insurance or Fed Ed continue to receive the extra $300 per week without interruption. So that means that if you're UI or Fed Ed, you're going to continue to see the $300. But if you are PEUC, you're going to be waiting up until that April 30th date to see any of the federal additions from the stimulus bill. All right. Let's see, what's this one? LaMarvel 1214, thank you very much. Hi, I'm on Fed Ed, but never received the 11 weeks. The thrump pass on 12/27/20. Do I lose that? No, you do not lose that. So those would be paid out to you retroactively because they apply to specific dates. Now, if you did not receive them yet, call into customer service because they should have applied it for you already. Both camps of people, both those who did and did not have a balance before the December end date, should have already had that applied to them. So I'm sorry, but call into customer service on that. Use my how to call trick video, which I have on my channel homepage, and I give 2 tricks on how to call. They're still working as of this week. Some people are reporting that they're not working for them, but the majority of people that are commenting there still are having them work as long as they give it more than one try. And they're consistently trying with them. All right, you guys, I'm going to do 2 last questions, and I'm looking all the way down here. All right. EDD site is down. Yes, it is. 670 people and only 300 likes. Come on. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, hold on. Chris, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. All right, Nemo Safari. So basically, we might not be able to spend our $1,400 stimulus check and have to save if unemployment won't pay full amount by April 30th. So I'm going to reiterate these dates for you guys one more time for those of you that are just joining. Oh, Chris, I see your question. Okay, hold on. Okay, so if you're PUA, let me start over. In the EDD's most recent press release today, the EDD states that PUA will be able to certify and have the extension applied by April 10th. If you are PEUC, you will be extended and be able to certify by April 30th. Now, if you are on Fed Ed with a balance, that's the next question. Okay, confusing myself. All right, Chris asks, if I file a new claim and I'm on Fed Ed with a balance, will I be able to still continue on Fed Ed until they process the new claim, or will it stop? Okay, so if you are on Fed Ed with the balance, you should be able to continue certifying and getting paid out. If you reach the end of your benefit year, however, and you get stuck in pending, then call into customer service. It's a bit unclear if Fed Ed will continue to pay out past the benefit year because many of my subscribers, a large number, like I don't share something that's subscriber feedback based unless it's consistent. Many of my subscribers continue to receive payouts for Fed Ed past their benefit year. However, the Department of Labor, in their most recent guidance issued 2 days ago, states very clearly that you must file a new claim if you may qualify for one. So my guess is that you might go into pending. If you do, then call into customer service and file a new claim. Doing it over the phone is the fastest. People hate when I say that because it's hard to get through the phone lines. But if you call in and you don't qualify for a new claim, they're able to apply that extension to you right away, as long as the program is up and running. So they're going to take some time to get it up and running. All right, the Thunders, thank you for your donation. My unemployment traditional ends 3/8. I still have funds in my account. I called the number, but no one answers. Do you have a better number? I do. I have a how to call video with 2 tricks. Go to my channel homepage and scroll about halfway down, and you'll see me holding the phone on the thumbnail, and it says testing 2 tricks to call the EDD. You do 2 tricks on there. They both are still working, but you do have to try them a few times before you get through. If that doesn't work, then call your assembly member. And in many cases, they have been very helpful with working alongside claimants. Now, let's see, did that answer your question? You still have funds in your account, unemployment? Yes. Okay, good on that one. It's too late for me to be answering this many questions. Not as sharp. All right, Esther Garcia, thank you for your donation. Would you recommend Wompley to apply for PPP? Because I keep hearing that with Wompley, you can apply for both PPP 1 and 2 at once. I am not familiar with Wompley, but someone who is familiar with Wompley is Max Maher's channel. I think he's an affiliate of theirs, but he's a very trustworthy channel as well. So I would go over to his channel and I would look at his PPP videos and content because he talks about Wompley a lot. So if he's using it, then I do think that they're creditable. So, but I don't have my own experience with them, so I can't recommend them personally. But go over to Max Maher's channel and look at his PPP info because he talks about Wompley a lot. So go for it. All right. Nicole, hi, Ginny. My benefit year ends September 2021. My claim balance reached $0 on March 8th. Got a message from EDD saying I qualify for PEUC. How long will it take to process? Okay, so I'm going to say it one more time for those of you joining. The EDD released their press release tonight, late tonight, which is why I'm on here late. And it states in it, PEUC is going to have the extension applied by April 30th. They are taking a long time with PEUC claimants. So by April 30th, you will be able to have PEUC applied to your claim and be able to certify. So unfortunately, it's going to take a while. All right. Let's see. Brenda says, is there a difference with calling in to reapply for a new claim versus filing one online? Once my claim year ended and I'm stuck in pending. Okay, so there is a difference. Filing online is totally fine. You can file online. It'll ask you to verify your ID. You'll have to go through id.me and do all of that. If you call into customer service and they're able to file you a new claim online, what most representatives will do is they will see if you qualify for a new claim. And if you do not, then they will immediately apply the extension to you. Now, currently, we're in a lapse where they're saying they're not going to be able to extend PEUC up until April 30th. They're going to take up until April 30th to apply all the PEUC extensions. So if you call in right now, they're probably going to tell you that they can't do that for you right now. Most claimants are reporting back that when they call into customer service this week, that customer service is telling them that they won't file for them over the phone and to just wait. So there is currently conflicting information being put out by the EDD and what is being stated online. I just put a video out about it. So I do think it's best to call in and try to apply over the phone because not only can you, number one, make sure that you're doing things properly for your own claim and not doing something that is maybe unnecessary or too early, etc. You can kind of make sure you're doing the right thing, but they can also, as long as the program is up and running, they can apply the extension immediately to you without you needing to jump through all the hoops of doing a full application online and doing your ID verification, etc. Because if they see that you don't qualify right away, then they will just keep you on your old claim. So I do think that that's better. All right. I'm taking one last question, and then I'm going to go. And I'm going to eat like I ordered like a case of Girl Scout cookies, and they came today. I'm going to eat them all, and they're going to be gone tomorrow. And it's not going to save them for the kids. Just kidding. Okay. Dante says, I'm on a tier 2 extension. What is that? But I have still active PUA and still have a positive balance, but I'm on PEUC extension. But if they give me an extension, do I go back to my PUA? Okay, so I believe it's kind of hard to tell without knowing the whole history of your claim, but I'm guessing anytime it says like tier 2 extension, that's kind of like the second version of the PEUC extension, I do believe. But you're talking about, do you go back to PUA? This is kind of difficult for me to answer because I don't have all the details here. But in many cases, claimants who had a traditional unemployment claim paid out their unemployment claim. They got a PEUC extension. They were denied Fed Ed. They then were migrated over to a PUA claim because they didn't qualify for Fed Ed. Now, under the new federal legislation, they have to move them back from PUA over to PEUC. And because they're moving you back, that's kind of like the second tier of that PEUC extension. So many people, when they migrate back over to PEUC, I think this is what you're asking is, are you going to move back to PUA? No, they would not move you back to PUA because they're kind of putting you back in your right spot over there with the UI claims and their extensions. So you would not move back over to PUA unless, unless you run out of... No, that doesn't apply anymore. Never mind. You would not move back. Okay. Last one. Oh, geez. Too many. Ooh, I don't know where I am. I'm lost. I already did that one. Who am I? Okay, Manal says, thank you for your info. My year ended on March 15th, but I haven't received anything from EDD, and I still have a balance, and I still can't certify. It says on extension. Okay, if you are on extension, you are currently collecting PEUC, your year ended. There's two things in this press release that pertain to you. The press release states that PEUC extensions will be applied by April 30th. April 30th is how long they're taking to extend anyone that is going to be on a PEUC extension. Could be sooner, but it says by April 30th. Now, the other thing that pertains to you is that your benefit year has ended. The press release also states that when your benefit year ends, you must file a new claim. If you don't qualify for a new claim, then they'll keep you on your old one with the PEUC extension applied. But as a formality with the Department of Labor, they must see if you qualify to go back on a regular claim. Now, did you call in? Let's see. Did you call in yet? No. Okay, so you can call into customer service and see if you can file a new claim. And then they will do that over the phone for you. But the problem is that if you saw my video that I posted earlier today, the EDD is publishing contradictory information. They are stating that you have to file a new claim, and then when many clients, you're not my clients, when many claimants call into customer service, they're telling them to wait until after the 4/10 end date. So I know this sounds confusing, but there's conflicting information. What I recommend is that you call into customer service, tell them you've reached the end of your benefit year, and see if they're able to file you a new claim. If they tell you to wait, then you'll wait. But at least then you know for sure that you have done your due diligence to keep your claim up and running. So call in if you can. All right, Ursula says, yes, I hope they don't mess it up again for all those people out there. I really hope so. I'm really glad that they published a clear timeline today. I'm not happy with the PEUC claimants taking up until April 30th, but at least we have dates published. And we have the dates published 2 days after the Department of Labor issued the guidance. So they got those dates and that timeline out really fast to people. So that surprised me, and I'm glad to see that. But I really hope there are no holdups. All right, you guys, that's it for me. There are, geez, goodness, there are still 600 people in here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so if I did not answer your question today, you guys, if you're new to my channel, if you're just hopping in here and you don't know who I am, you know, I'm just a random lady on the internet talking about really boring government programs. I have a wealth of videos over on my channel homepage, including tricks of how to call the EDD and every possible step along the way there, stimulus programs, small business help, etc. The best way to get a question answered by me, if I didn't get to it in the live, is to go anytime I publish a video. It doesn't matter what the topic is. So if it's a PPP video and you're not a small business, it doesn't matter. Go to the most recent video and leave your question there. As soon as I publish a video, I usually hang out in the comments for about the first hour, and then I try to return there later in the evening as well. And I answer as many questions as I possibly can. And then I also have an assistant who will link to other videos that may be helpful for you and give you resources and things like that. So I always try my best to help you guys. So if I didn't get to your question today, this was just an impromptu live to get that press release info out. So go drop more questions on my most recent video right now. Okay, you guys, I'm seeing lots of thank yous. You're very welcome. Sid says I'm fantastic. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you next time.